Hello, this is Kim with the Hypertufa Gardener, and today we're going to talk about my wildflower garden that's in the rear of my backyard. It's a little spot at the edge of the woods that kind of has a little creek and runoff through it, and that's where I have discovered a couple years ago a drift of great blue lobelia growing there. I was so pleased with those plants, which you can see have really multiplied, that I decided to keep that little area for wildflowers. Just let it kind of naturalize into a little habitat. There's a whole little system there of spiders, bugs, I don't know how many frogs, salamanders, maybe that type of thing are back there. It stays damp a lot of the time. Jewelweed has also grown there. It has been there for quite some time too. And that is becomes some kind of treatment for poison ivy, I have read. But I have a lot of jewelweed that's back there. And I have never used it as any kind of a treatment or preventative for poison ivy. But if you have, let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear what your experience was. Now, there are quite a few other plants in here. Some I've been able to identify, others I've not. There's that little racemes with a 333 that I've written about on the post that you can let me know if you know the name of. Of course, we've got a lot of fungus, mushrooms, etc., from the downed trees that we have back in there. And then as you look across back toward the west side, you see a lot of those trees and the jewelweed. Mostly all that green centering is around the little creek bed that goes in there. But this makes a really nice little area, I think, for all my plants and everything that just thrives in that area. Now, there is an epilobium there. I don't know what kind it is. Some kind of a little willow herb that I identified through one of the Facebook page for wildflowers. I also have a lot of smartweed or knotweed that's there. It's real pretty. It has the little, kind of like a little bumpy stick that sticks out, almost like clover, but an elongated piece of clover. That's real pretty. Now, I had written a post about, what is it called? American burnweed that is back here. And there's a lot of those specimens growing up too. Now, that one in the center right there is my mystery plant. This previously was a mystery plant. I wrote a post about it asking what it was, but we did identify that. It's burnweed. It does have flowers on top that kind of puff out like a dandelion puff does, but that can spread and be invasive. So I usually try to cut the tops off ones that we don't want to spread really bad. There's that one in the center again that I don't know what it is. If you can help me with the ID on that, let me know. There's a close-up picture on the post. Now, these trees are honeysuckle bushes, which grow all over our backyard, in this woody portion. They have berries on them, and the birds just love them. That's probably why they get scattered so much around. I hear they're kind of an invasive plant for this area of Ohio and perhaps over the eastern U.S. And we do take some of them down, chop them down, but mostly they just grow up from the root. You chop one down, you get two in its place. You can see how they just kind of twist and splay out all over. But, it's something that the birds really like, and since I am trying for a habitat, I allow some of these to grow. Really pretty red berries in this late summertime. Now, this is another view looking back from the western side. We have a lot of the Eupatorium, I think it's called, snakeroot plant that's intermingled among all these plants. And of course there are a lot of grasses and Johnson grass, things like that. Now this is the mystery plant, a close-up view of it. It kind of comes out in a set of 3 little racemes, and you can see they're kind of a whitish green color. It's almost a star-shaped swirl, and as they start to age, I don't even want to call it open, they sort of open a little bit, but they get a pinkish tint to them and then get pinker and pinker, and I don't know what they are. They're about 15 to 20 inches tall, and I have some of these in various stages. You can see where some of these are getting more of that pink or colored edge, and then a few of those that we saw back just a short time ago are very, very pink looking as the plant is starting to yellow, and I'm assuming it's getting ready to die off in the cold. Now here in the mowed portion of this backfield, there's a lot of wild strawberry on the ground. Now these don't taste good. They don't taste anything like the regular cultivated strawberries. But maybe you were more aware of that. We still have a lot of tree stumps that we're gradually burning for our fall and sometimes in the summer campfires. This is another plant here at the base of this tree. This bigger one. Now the one that's coming out toward us that I'll close up on is horseweed, and it kind of, I don't know if that is called that because it kind of splays out. It's like the mane or the tail of a horse. Now I have a lot of this, but I don't know what it is. I have goldenrod. This has not turned golden or anything, so I'm not sure what it is. If you can help me identify some of these, I'd really appreciate it. Now, as I said, since we have various stages of dying trees, we have a lot of fungus growing on them. Shelves and shelves of this up the sides of the trees and growing at the base of the trees. We have a lot of woodpeckers that really, really enjoy these woods because they just, peck on these trees all the time. But I really enjoy this. I put my carpet bugle out there, Ajuga reptans. I let that grow and go wild. There's a lot of creeping jenny, which helps to populate that ground out there, and I think it really looks good. Now this is looking back up toward the house. Our lawn is growing in slowly where we scraped it all off, removing a swimming pool. But this is my habitat for wild animals. I hope you've enjoyed watching the Wildflower Garden. Thanks a lot.